You still carry them. Not in the way you carry an active hope, not with the daily weight of someone you are actively expecting to hear from. More quietly than that, more settled in than that. They live in a specific place that is not quite memory and not quite longing. Something between the two, a space they occupy in you that never quite became available for anyone else. You have done the reasonable work. You told yourself the things that needed to be told. You reminded yourself of the reasons, the timing, the way things ended or faded or never quite started the way they were supposed to. You made peace with it, or something close to peace. You rebuilt your daily life around their absence. And yet, on certain evenings, in certain quiet moments, something in you turns in their direction the way a compass turns toward magnetic north, without permission, without intention, without any particular trigger that explains the turning. Their name arrives in your thoughts in the middle of a conversation about something completely unrelated. You dream about them in a way that is too specific to be random. You see something they would have found funny or beautiful, and the impulse to share it with them crosses your mind before you remember that you cannot do that anymore. You stop short of the memory of why you cannot, and sit for a moment in the specific, familiar ache of something that felt real but never got to be finished. You have almost moved on. Some days you got very close, and then something brings them back, not dramatically, not with any external cause, just the internal arrival of them in the space they never fully left. And you have not been able to fully explain, even to yourself, why they are still there. Why that specific person occupies that specific space when so many other people have come and gone without leaving anything permanent behind. Today I am going to tell you why. And today something is going to shift in a way you may have stopped allowing yourself to hope for. Venus conjunct the South Node is active today, in Virgo. And before I explain what this means in the specific, personal, this is what is happening in your life in terms of someone who is carrying the specific person they are thinking about right now. I need you to understand what the South Node actually represents, because everything else about today depends on it. The lunar nodes are the axis of karma and destiny. The North Node points toward what a soul is becoming, the direction of growth, of new territory, of the lessons this lifetime is designed to teach. The South Node points toward what a soul has been, the accumulated experience, the familiar territory, the connections and patterns and unfinished stories that were part of what came before. The South Node is the repository of karmic history, of what was not yet complete when the chapter ended, of the souls that carry threads of connection to you that have not yet been fully resolved, because the resolution required a timing, a growth, a level of awareness in both people that simply was not present when the connection first tried to complete itself. What lives on the South Node is not dead. It is unfinished, and there is a profound difference between those two things. Venus is the planet of love, attraction, and the invisible threads of genuine connection between people. When Venus aligns exactly with the South Node, when it occupies the same precise point in the sky as the axis of karmic history, it does something very specific. It activates. It reaches into the repository of unfinished karmic connections and identifies the ones that still have something real in them, something genuine that was not fully expressed, not fully received, not fully resolved. And it creates the energetic conditions for those connections to surface, to return into the awareness of both people involved, to create the opening that was not available when the connection first stalled or faded or ended before it was complete. This is happening today. Venus is conjunct the South Node right now, in this specific day, in the specific sign of Virgo. And what it is activating in your life is not your longing projected onto a universe that is indifferent to it. It is a genuine, precise, cosmically deliberate movement of something that has been held in the karmic repository, waiting specifically for an alignment like this one to create the conditions for its return. I want to be very clear about the nature of what is being activated today, because the distinction matters enormously for how you receive it. What is surfacing today is not nostalgia. It is not the comfortable illusion that longing creates when it has been sustained long enough that it starts to feel like the presence of the thing being longed for. It is not the viewer's desire creating a convincing fiction about a connection that was genuinely complete and is only appearing to return because the leaving was never fully accepted. The person you are thinking about right now did not fully leave, and not in the way that unprocessed grief can make it seem like something has not left when it has. In the specific, energetic, this is how karmic connections actually work: sense of a thread that was never severed because what it was connecting was never complete. The connection between you and the person occupying that space in your heart is a karmic thread. And karmic threads do not dissolve when people separate. They maintain. They wait. They persist in the energetic dimension of the connection, invisible in the ordinary course of days, but present and active and pulling in both directions, toward you from them, toward them from you, until the alignment arrives that creates the opening for the thread to be addressed. The alignment is today. What Venus conjunct the South Node is telling you is that the person who never fully left your heart has not been simply living their life unaffected by the thread between you. They have been carrying their end of it too, in whatever form that takes for them, in whatever way their specific emotional landscape processes the persistence of a genuine but unresolved connection. The thought of you has arrived for them in quiet moments too. The impulse to reach out has been there for them too, checked or unchecked, followed or suppressed, but present, because the thread runs in both directions. Always. And today Venus is reaching into the South Node's repository of unfinished karmic business and activating both ends of it simultaneously. If this message is landing somewhere real in you, there is a link in the description to support this work. Only if it moves you to. Every offering helps these messages keep reaching the people they're meant for. What a karmic second chance actually means is one of the most important things to understand about today, because the phrase carries expectations that may not serve the reality of what is being offered. A karmic second chance is not a guarantee. It is not the universe promising a specific outcome, a specific reconciliation, a specific version of how this resolves. The universe does not make those promises. What the universe makes is openings, and what people do with openings is always and entirely theirs to determine. What Venus conjunct the South Node creates today is an opening. The door that appeared closed, that had the quality of something permanent, something decided, something that was going to remain as it was for the foreseeable future, is being opened today by the specific energetic conditions of this transit. Not all the way open. An opening. A crack. The return of an availability that was not available before. What a karmic second chance means specifically is that the universe is saying, the timing that was missing before is no longer missing. The growth that one or both of you needed in order to receive this connection at the level it was always meant to operate, that growth has happened. The awareness that was absent when the connection first stalled has been built. The specific combination of who you are now and who they are now creates a different set of conditions than the combination that existed when the connection was first attempted. And those different conditions make possible something that was not possible before. Not guaranteed. Possible. The difference between those two things is where your agency lives. The universe is reopening the door. What happens next depends on what both people do with the opening, whether it is walked through and in which direction, and with what level of honesty and genuine readiness that neither of you had the last time. The question the karmic second chance is asking is not whether this person is coming back. The question is whether you and they are now the versions of yourselves who can receive what the connection was always trying to be. The answer to that question is something only the opening will reveal. Venus in Virgo's specific contribution to today is what makes this return different from a general wave of nostalgia or a vague reactivation of old feelings. Virgo is the sign of discernment, of precision, of the careful, evaluative intelligence that distinguishes between what is genuinely worth attention and what only appears significant because it is familiar. Virgo does not romanticize. Virgo assesses. And Venus in Virgo does not bring back everything from the karmic repository indiscriminately. What Venus in Virgo identifies as worth returning is what has been evaluated at the level of the universe's perspective on your actual well-being and found genuinely significant. Not just emotionally weighted, not just historically important, not just charged with the specific intensity that unresolved things always carry. Genuinely significant in the sense of, this connection still has something real and genuine and worth the attention of a second chance. Something that was not an error or a mismatch or a lesson that only needed to be learned once. Something that was the right thing in the wrong timing, and the timing has now changed. This is why the person who is on your mind right now is specifically the person who is on your mind. Venus in Virgo did not activate every unresolved connection indiscriminately. It activated what was worth a second look. The universe, using the precise discernment of Virgo's energy, identified your specific thread with your specific person as one that still has something genuine in it, something that the South Node's repository has been holding, not as something finished that cannot be revisited, but as something unfinished that was always going to need this kind of return. The person on your mind right now is there for a reason. And the reason is not accident, and it is not projection, and it is not the comfortable illusion of longing. It is Venus in Virgo reaching into the South Node and identifying, with precision, what is genuinely worth the opening it is creating today. The window of Venus conjunct the South Node is specific and temporary. The exact alignment is today, and the days immediately surrounding it carry the strongest activation of what this transit delivers. The peak is now, and the quality of attention you bring to the peak period determines what you are available to receive from it. This does not mean frantic action. It does not mean reaching out impulsively or making dramatic moves, or doing anything that the genuine quality of the situation would not support in its own time. Venus in Virgo is not asking for impulsiveness. It is asking for presence, for the quality of awareness that allows you to recognize the return when it happens, in whatever form it takes, rather than processing it as coincidence or dismissing it as the mind's ability to construct meaning from random events. The return may come as contact, their name on your phone screen in a way that the timing makes impossible to call ordinary. A message that begins with something simple, but carries more than its surface suggests. A reach out that the previous weeks or months of distance would not have predicted. When this arrives, and the energetics of today make it significantly more likely than it would be on an ordinary day, receive it with the full awareness of what it is. Not just a message, a karmic thread completing one end of its circuit, an opening that the universe created and they chose to walk through. The return may come as an internal arrival, the specific quality of their presence in your thoughts today, sharper than usual, more insistent, carrying the specific quality of something that is trying to be attended to rather than managed. When that quality arrives, do not route it efficiently back into the compartment where you store what is not resolved. Let it arrive. Give it the full attention of someone who understands that what the universe brings to the surface today is bringing it for a reason. The return may come as an encounter, something in the physical world, an appearance in a context that carries the specific quality of something orchestrated rather than random. Pay attention today to the moments that have that quality, to the things that happen that you would normally dismiss as coincidence, but that today, with the understanding of what Venus conjunct the South Node is activating, you can receive as the karmic precision they actually represent. The support of this community is what keeps this work alive. If you feel called to contribute, the link is in the pinned comment, and share this with someone who is carrying someone they never fully let go. This message might be exactly what they need to hear today. The universe does not bring people back by accident. This is the truth at the center of what today is offering, and I want to leave it with you in the specific, felt. This is real way it deserves to be received, rather than as a comforting phrase that sounds meaningful without landing as true. The karmic repository, the South Node's holding place for what was unfinished, what was genuine, what carried a real thread that the ending of the chapter did not sever, does not release what it holds randomly. It holds it until the conditions exist for the release to be genuinely useful rather than simply painful, until the growth on both ends has happened, until the timing that was missing is no longer missing, until the opening that is created will be an actual opening and not just a wound reopened. The conditions exist today. The growth has happened, in you through everything this year has asked of you, and in them through whatever their parallel journey has been. The timing has changed. The opening is real. And what is being returned today is being returned because the universe's precise, Virgo discerning, South Node accessing evaluation has determined that this specific connection with this specific person in this specific moment has something genuine left in it that was worth the return. Stay open today, not with the braced, hope carefully quality that protection has taught you to bring to anything involving this person. With genuine, grounded, the universe is doing something deliberate here, openness. The kind that recognizes what comes toward you today for what it is. Not coincidence, not your longing creating its own confirmation, not the comfortable fiction of an unhealed thing that hasn't yet accepted the ending. The genuine return of something that was always genuine. The second chance that the South Nodes holding in Venus's activation have created together, with the precision of Virgo ensuring that what is delivered is worth receiving. What is coming back for a reason. And the reason is that the chapter between you was never actually finished. Stay open. It is almost here.